It is Thursday, September 4th, 2025, and today on Armchair Analysis, we've got plenty to go over. We've got Colorado's game management at the end. We've seen a handful of, well, we've seen a lot of discussion about it, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my thoughts. Not that anybody particularly cares, but I do want to give you guys my thoughts. And then we're also going to talk about what I thought was a going to be a Thursday preview. Come to find out, I went and looked through a little further and realized that there actually aren't any Thursday games. So that's like the first time in a long time that I've caught that. So um, it is what it is. It's unfortunate because we're gonna miss out on Thursday. But we got Thursday night football. NFL's kicking off for those that care about that. Not around here. We're not going to talk about it. So um, yeah, instead we're going to talk about some weekend storylines, some games that are going kind of some games we haven't already talked about that I think are going to be really interesting to watch. Going to be certainly on the TV at some point throughout the course of Saturday. So, with that said, I just want to say that welcome first off to Armchair Analysis. But if you're new around here, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. All that stuff helps me out. It's all free. It just helps me out, helps this channel continue to grow, helps this show continue to grow. Building a fun community around here. Feel free as always to drop thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me some games you're looking forward to. Tell me what you guys thought of last week. If you guys watched the Colorado game and the way it ended, tell me what you guys thought of it. I like to hear all that stuff. It's all welcome here in the comments. So, with that said, uh, thank you guys, and let's go ahead and start today's show. It kicks off with this Colorado story, and while I don't particularly I don't tend to go and do the armchair coaching thing. I figure, well, you know what, we're making play on the armchair quarterback or the armchair coach or whatever you want to say. So why don't we? Why don't we take the time to talk about this? At the end of this game, Colorado gets the ball with over a minute to go. I think it was sitting around a minute and 8 seconds. I didn't go back and find it because I can remember this plain as day. Just over a minute to go in the game, Colorado gets the ball back down a touchdown. The first play is a completed pass, gets 9 yards, nobody's far downfield, and rather than calling a timeout, one of their two remaining, they decide they're going to hurry up. And they hurry up, 2nd and 1. Everybody's back to the line quick. They take a few seconds to kind of get their play call, make sure they get their adjustments, snap the ball. And this play right here loses a ton of time. They this play, a lot of time in the backfield waiting and then improvising. Caden Salter steps up, tries to run, decides to, rather than go down and get the first down, stop the clock again, save 30 some seconds. They instead, or he instead decides not to do that and to take the ball and run across the field, wasting another probably 10 seconds off the game clock to get out of bounds. But now we have 18 seconds left. So from that first play to the second play, not terrible. It could have been better. Could have been executed better. Probably could have used that timeout if they really wanted to. But I'm going to say that I agree with the no timeout call there. Why? Because you don't expect the ensuing play to happen. You don't expect the time to be taken off the clock. By the time you dig in, you're kind of dug in deep, right? You're like, okay, he's going to snap the ball at some point. They didn't. Okay, he's going to take his first down, get down. We're going to use our timeout here. No. Instead, you waste another 10 plus seconds. It was a big mismanagement of time, but I don't think it was by the coach. I don't think that Coach Prime did anything particularly wrong. I feel as though we're going to sit back and look at this, and it was more of mismanagement from the quarterback who's been there. He's been in this situation before. Caden Salter is a successful quarterback, has been successful in his group of five time over with Liberty. You can't tell me that a guy that has that kind of experience, you would expect to make a mistake like that, to waste that kind of time in a situation like that. Unfortunately, that's what happened. And then the next three plays are reduced to just chucking up deep balls and hoping you can make a play because that's the only thing you have left to do. To me, again, I agree with that first play not getting a timeout call because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's next. If you do, then certainly. But if anybody had that, they'd be one of the best coaches ever, if not the best coach ever, if they had the ability to see what was next. Unfortunately, I just didn't see that coming. You don't expect that kind of a mistake from an experienced quarterback. To me, it just felt a little bit more like a It just felt more like it was on Caden Salter than it was on Coach Prime. Now you can certainly find ways to blame them both, yes. Um, but that's the way I feel about it. That's my take on that situation. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Coach Prime mismanaged the clock? Do you think they should have used that timeout after the first play? Do you think they shouldn't have? Again, all discussion. Welcome down in the comments. Let's shift gears. Let's go to week 2. As it is Thursday, it's about time to talk about week 2. Tomorrow we'll have a preview of Friday games because there are a few Friday games. There's actually a big one, or a pretty exciting one. Louisville and James Madison play tomorrow night, so we'll be previewing that for sure tomorrow. We look at some of these games, and there's some storylines around the sport, really, for a handful of them, and let's go ahead and get into it. Again, these are not games we've already talked about. We talked about Michigan, Oklahoma. We talked about Iowa and Iowa State. We're going to talk about some games we haven't covered already, and we're going to start with Ole Miss at Kentucky. Ole Miss comes in as a 10.5-point favorite against the Wildcats, but Ole Miss lost last year to this Kentucky team at home. There's a revenge factor in this game, and on top of that, Kentucky doesn't really look like they're going to be all that great. Obviously, they're led by Zach Calzada. He's no stranger to upsets. If you remember correctly, he did lead the A&M upset over Alabama in 2021. But beyond that, this Kentucky team doesn't really have a true identity, at least not that we've seen. They didn't look great against Toledo. Certainly begs a lot of confidence for Ole Miss to pull off a revenge win on the road in Lexington, which I'm certainly changing my tune about their loss in this game early. One thing I will say, it's Austin Simmons' first test on the road. How does he handle it? How does he adjust and play? We've seen a lot of quarterbacks struggle early this season in their first big start. So we'll see what happens, but I like Ole Miss a lot in this game. They're favored by 10.5. Baylor at SMU. Baylor was a team I was really high on, and they're looking to bounce back. They got kind of shell-shocked by Auburn last week. Really surprised at the way they got pushed around at the line of scrimmage. Really surprised at the way they didn't get things going offensively. You thought they may be able to run the ball a little better. Never really got comfortable. I don't think Sawyer Robertson ever got comfortable throwing the ball. They're looking for a bit of a change this week. They're going on the road to Dallas to Gerald J. Ford Stadium to face off with SMU, who comes in as the number 17 team in the country, comes in as a 3-point favorite even. Kevin Jennings versus Sawyer Robertson should be a fun quarterback matchup. Should be a fun game altogether. I like Baylor in this game to get the win, bounce back, get back in the win column after a tough loss last week. But certainly a game that I'm going to be tuning into. That game's actually on CW this week. I'm surprised. That's not really the place I'd expect it to be. But CW is going to have some eyes on their channel, that's for sure. Moving on, Illinois, 3.5-point favorite on the road against Duke. I love this game. This is going to be a lot of fun. Darian Mensah gets his first test as the Duke quarterback, but he gets it at home. Illinois looks to go on the road with their experienced roster and pull off a win, be impressive. And there's certainly room for that to happen. I think there's going to be a really fun game to watch. I think Illinois is going to play defense really well. I said that really stupid. Illinois is going to be really stout on defense. Duke is going to really step up to the occasion themselves and play well on defense themselves. We're going to look at both these teams offensively, see who steps up, who makes that play first, who creates the momentum first. I like Illinois to win, but I certainly think Duke has potential here. I'm keeping my eyes open on this game as a potential upset. Moving on, we got Kansas at Missouri. Missouri comes in 6.5-point favorites. Kansas has looked good, specifically on offense. The offense has really figured it out. Jalen Daniels looked really good in his first 2 starts of the season. Missouri, Bo Prabula looked really good last week, and he's going to be the starter after Sam Horn's injury. He's going to miss probably a considerable amount of time, if not a majority of the season, which leaves it to Prabula and Matt Zollers, who also looked okay last week as well in his handful of passes. I think it's going to come down to Kansas' ability to maintain and contain Bo Prabula in his, not only on the designed runs, but his ability to create and scramble and make plays. He did a lot of that last week. Obviously, with Central Arkansas, a bit of a jump in competition, but a fun game no less. I like Missouri to win this game. Down in the evening, we got Arizona State at Mississippi State. Arizona State comes in as 6.5-point favorites. Should be able to take care of business in this one. but a really good early test for them just to kind of get used to again being on the road, tough environments. They have a few more of those this year. Um, should be a fun matchup, but I think Arizona State will control. Vandy goes on the road to face Virginia Tech. Vanderbilt won this game last year at home in Nashville. They get to go on the road, face the crowd in Blacksburg, and what I think I saw over the course of Sunday's game for Virginia Tech was a much improved defense, especially on the line of scrimmage. But not only that, I think they played really well offensively too. I'm expecting a little bit more out of them in terms of capitalizing and creating and capitalizing on scoring opportunities and putting it in the end zone rather than just kicking field goals. I'm taking Virginia Tech to win this game. They walk in as 1.5-point favorites. I think they'll win this game, but it's going to be close. I'm excited to see this one because it's going to tell us a lot about Virginia Tech. It's going to tell us a lot about Vanderbilt too, whether they're going to be able to replicate last year or not. As for Virginia Tech, it's going to tell us whether or not they have truly improved or not. Lastly, we got Boston College at Michigan State. That's the Big Ten on NBC game at 7:30. Michigan State comes in as 4.5-point favorites. Dylan Lonergan looked really good in his debut for Boston College. 4 touchdown passes on Saturday against Fordham. It's just Fordham. Calm down. However, they looked really good. 4 touchdown passes, and not one of them to Lewis Bond, who I expect to be a really big playmaker in this game. As for Michigan State, they looked solid themselves. Pulled together a pretty solid win over Western Michigan. They didn't look great, but they did the job. They did what they needed to do. A big game this weekend, really. Telling us about improvement for both sides of the coin, whether Michigan State improved, whether Boston College improved. There's a lot of people higher on Michigan State than I am. But I still have Michigan State winning. I think they're going to be able to take care of business at home and get a big-time win. But this is a good test for Jonathan Smith, by the way. And the reason I say that, this is a big coaching matchup. Jonathan Smith versus Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's been around for a long time. This could be a big win, especially if Jonathan Smith is able to out-coach and out-scheme Bill O'Brien. That'd be a big deal. So I'm taking Michigan State to win, but that's going to be a close game as well. But a lot yet to cover going into this weekend. Tomorrow we got our Take 10 coming out. Excited to cover that and see what we have to discuss there. We'll preview all the Friday night's games. As for yesterday, if you missed that video, we previewed Cyhawk game along with our top 25. The Armchair Analysis top 25 dropped yesterday as well. And then you go back to Tuesday if you really want to. Michigan and Oklahoma preview. We really dug deep into that game and what it could be, and even picking a winner and a score on that game. So make sure you go check all those out. You can check everything out here on this channel as of the last couple of weeks. But plenty still to come down the line. Remember, there will be no live show Saturday morning as I'll be out of town. Won't really have the time Saturday morning to get it done. But Sunday, we will be back Sunday evening with a weekend recap where we'll talk about everything that we saw on Saturday, kind of give you guys an idea of how we're feeling after 2 weeks of college football. So make sure you stick around, make sure you tune in, and again, if you're new, leave a like, subscribe, specifically subscribe. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers. We're pretty close. We're 14 away. We can definitely get there. So appreciate y'all so much. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with Take 10, and again, a Friday night preview.